Hello, and welcome to another episode of Geekly Revealed, that show where we bring you geekly news on a weekly basis. You know how it is. Puns, that's what we're all about here. I'm Stephanie. I'm Stephanie, aka Captain Steph on Twitter, the Snowclear on Tumblr, etc., and I am joined as always by my wonderful co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself, my good sir?
Yes, I would. I am Dom, aka Brother Dom all over the internet, and I just came in from a safely done run, and life's good. As it could be, anyway.
Nice. Yeah, we went on a extremely long walk on Saturday, masked up, sunglasses on, but...
Yeah, I saw that. Y'all were prepared.
We walked 10 miles. We walked all the way from our apartment to the Brooklyn Bridge and back, but, it was nice. We were exhausted when we got back. You know how, after you've worked out for a while, your muscles kind of, ping, when a car engine's cooling down and you hear it, kind of, hit and spit?
Yeah.
My legs were, why did we do this?
Oh, yeah. I always have a good second date memory with my partner. We went for a walk, starting by the casino in Pittsburgh and walking along the trail, and we're all being cute, just kind of oh, hey, I want to keep talking, but I don't really want to be the one to initiate turning back. And we walked I don't know, not to the 40th Street Bridge, but one of the ones before it, which wouldn't be so bad until we're oh, we gotta walk back, we're not anywhere where we can catch an Uber, this is so weird. So my tendons and arches were just on fire. And I was hey, I'm sorry, I wanted to keep talking, but I gotta tap out. And she's oh, thank God, me too. Why did we do this? That was a couple years ago. And so, once you've built a relationship on that...
Once you've built a relationship on very long walks.
I think you and your friend will be friends forever, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was funny, too, because, we weren't even talking or anything. We both had our headphones in most of the time, just, I talked to my mom for a while on the phone, we both listened to some podcasts or some audiobooks, and it just, it was just nice to, go outside, and, it was a really nice day on Saturday, and ultimately one of our goals was to stop at a grocery store, but there were, I guess it being a Saturday, there were lines outside every grocery store because they're only letting limited numbers of people in.
Yeah.
And, lines of people spaced 6 feet apart, the one, when we walked past the Trader Joe's, it was as far as the eye could see, out of the building, around the block, down the way. I was ooh. That
is rough. We are in truly strange times.
Yeah, we were we'll get groceries somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it on this podcast or just to some friends, but, I'm in an apartment, so I can see the road from my house. From my apartment and from our balcony and whatnot. It's like a fire escape balcony. We're not bougie or anything like that, but the amount of traffic that is going by has not seemed to stop at all since all this has started. And we're what the hell is wrong with people? People still have to do stuff, but it seemed like it didn't even slow down a little bit. So we went and we had to go pick up something from Target. We did the order ahead and they just have it for you and they have all their signs up. So we went down the street to look at it, literally one block over, oh, the street's completely empty. We just live in a residential enough neighborhood that these are all probably all essential workers coming home and stuff like that, because everything else around us has completely stopped except for the street that we live on.
Yeah, and y'all have a Trader Joe's near there too, so people are probably grocery shopping.
Yeah, there's a Target,
Giant
Trader
Eagle
Joe's.
Probably.
Yeah, there's one of the market districts. So I guess for people that aren't from Pittsburgh or Ohio, Giant Eagle is just the local grocery store. It's kind of on par. Yeah, but the market districts are the giant ones.
They're the bougie ones, yeah.
Yeah, I went to one. It's probably the size of a Walmart Supercenter, but just mostly of groceries and stuff. And they have when I say an ethnic food section, I'm counting the white ethnicities too. You have a Greek section, an Italian section, Spanish, Mexican, Indian. There's actually pretty well done. But there's one up by the airport. It's it's huge. I feel each of it's almost like a boutiques, little boutiques in each of the food genres, as you might call it. But yeah, so this is all stressful stuff to talk about. If you are looking, since it's kind of about our lives as well. So if you're looking for something a little less stressful, a little bit more of a reprieve from all this. We do have our side series Getting By going on right now. Just a quick recommendation. All the episodes are less than 10 minutes, even shorter than that sometimes, where it's just a discussion about what we're doing to get by in these trying times, and we keep it positive and don't really talk about this stuff if it's annoying or depressing or triggering to some. So feel free to listen to that. It's on the same feed and it's labeled properly. But
yes.
we each have a lot going on right now, though. Well, not really a lot going on, but some stuff going on.
Yeah.
What are you into? What's going on in your week?
Well, I've cracked down and I have started an island. I have begun playing Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh no. I mean, oh yes.
oh yes. Yeah, it's addicting, y'all. Like, but it's also yeah, go ahead.
This is your first Animal Crossing, right?
This is baby's first Animal Crossing. It's really interesting to me. Like, I mean, it's very, like, I can see how it would be addicting to yours truly, who, like, when I was, like, 12, I got The Sims for the first time, like The Sims 2 and, like, 7 expansion packs and for Christmas, and I did not leave our computer room, which was a thing we had in that era.
That feels like a hard thing to even explain to people our generation. Like, if they're like not even over, like other millennials that are like 2 years younger than us might not get that reference.
Yeah, so I had a computer room, and I didn't leave the computer room for like 12 hours, like the first day. Like, I was just, this is what I wanted to do, is what I was about. Like, so needless to say, having had this since like Wednesday of last week, I've probably logged over 24 hours of playtime.
You know what? Nothing wrong with that. It's when there's a good game and you want to sink your teeth into, especially one where it has very, I don't know, fantastical elements like paying off mortgage or seeing friends. Like, when I have stuff like that, I can understand wanting to escape to that world.
Well, yeah, you know, like, that's the thing about Animal Crossing, is that you like, especially now, I was listening to the McElroys or Justin and Griffin are on a podcast called The Besties, where they talk about video games, and they dropped their latest episode into the Bim Bam feed that was about
Cross-Pollination.
Yeah, Animal Cross-Pollination.
Oh no. That's the title. You
there
did
it is. Their episode was about Animal Crossing. And Justin was talking about how, like, this is, like, he was looking forward to this game, like, in the way that, like, you know, like, you generically look forward to a video game you think you're probably going to enjoy.
Sure.
But, like, truly, no one at Nintendo nor anywhere else in, I think, the world could have predicted the world that Animal Crossing's New Horizons was going to release into.
No, absolutely not. And that's even more furthered by the fact that this game got delayed to this point. It was not originally supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out last year, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, dang.
This was a 2019 release, and at one point they said, hey, you know, we want this game to be a little bit... It's like probably a couple of weeks after Doom actually delayed their release too, for a similar reason. Like, hey, we don't want to crunch too badly anyway. And we're going to need a little bit more time. It's just not feasible to come out this year. We want this game to be great. And everyone's like, yeah, of course, that's cool. And they're like, it's coming out on 4/20. And people are like, the same day as Doom. Not 4/20. I'm sorry. That's not possible. That's this month. What was it? 3/20?
Yeah, I think it was it was the end of last
You know
month.
what? 4/20 didn't even exist this year, even if it's the whole month of April. But anyway, that's the same day as Doom. But no one figured that we'd be stuck inside, and this would be like such a platform of interaction.
Yeah, it's really, like, because it's, like, not just, like, even before we were all stuck inside, like, there's, like, the joke of Animal Crossing, like, oh, like, you know, you can pay off a mortgage, or, like, you can get a mortgage, first of all, and then you can pay off the mortgage, like...
Interest-free, no less.
Interest-free, what a millennial dream. But, like, just, like, the peaceful... Like, even when it's, like, there's some annoying features in that, like, you can only, like, when you're trying to sell stuff in the shop, you can only sell one item at a time, and you have to go through the, like, slow talk, like...
Timmy
like,
and Tommy?
Text conversation with Timmy and Tommy, like, every time, which is like very time consuming and annoying. In the same way, similarly, when you're trying to donate stuff to the museum, you have to go through this like whole conversation every time.
Yeah.
But like on the flip side of that, like this is a way that like I can go into this game and spend like 10 hours a day, like just chilling, kind of like wandering around in my outside world, you know, like doing like planting things and visiting my friends' islands and like eating oranges so that I can lift trees out of the ground, like
like you do. I
like
almost feel like some of those features that like are anti-quality of life might be on purpose to prevent people from trying to min-max the game. Like, if you could sell, I don't know, like 99 turnips at once, or whatever your inventory allows. I've never played Animal Crossing, I just looked at stuff. If you could do that all the time, you'd be able to like save a lot of time and be able to like grind more. And I think they don't want people to grind this game.
It's interesting because like so much of the game is just grinding for bells, though. Like that's like the point of the game is to grind, like. But at the same time,
well, they don't want you to do it fast.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
They want you to really take your time grinding.
As any master of grinding would let you know, it's all about taking your time.
But yeah, it's really funny. The only person, our mutual friend who got me the game,
the best DM in the world, apparently.
Best DM, yeah. He's the only person whose island I visited yet. Like, because you can visit other people's islands, or you can there's like this subcurrency called Nook Miles, which is like frequent flyer miles basically, but you can use those to go to like uninhabited islands and just like do a colonialism.
Oh, nice.
Like just completely just raze them to the ground for resources.
Well, are the people there already?
And they're uninhabited, and you can only visit them once and you can't go back.
Oh,
So you just like go, you just like break all the rocks and cut down all the trees and pull up all the plants and catch as many bugs as you can. And like if bugs are there, like there are certain ways you can do it. So like if you cut down all the trees, pull up all the plants, and dump all of the materials on the beaches, you can basically force the game to spawn tarantulas more frequently.
Because they're coming for junk?
Well, no, because, like, if there are stumps, there are certain bugs that'll spawn on stumps, and only a certain number of bugs will spawn at a time.
Okay.
So, like, if you get rid of the flowers, the stink bugs that land on the flowers won't be able to spawn. If you dig up the stumps, like, the beetles that land on the stumps won't be able to spawn. So, like...
Oh, I gotcha.
So, by pulling up everything else, you can basically force it so there are only, like, 3 or 4 kinds of... like high value bugs will spawn. Sounds
like Spider Island. Is that what people are making the joke about?
Yeah, so like that's kind of what people are making the joke about. Honestly, I've had, because they call it your pocket that you put everything in, like I've had that Natasha Bedingfield song from Easy A stuck in my head.
Pocket full of sunshine?
So, pocket full of sunshine. It's like I've got a pocket full of insects, like
You are the bug queen.
I am the bug queen, but yeah. So it's my first Animal Crossing. Me and our mutual friend DM friend. Who one of these days we're gonna get on the podcast. So like it's not like using his name is going to be like a deal or anything. But we were laughing when I came to visit his island because he's got like pink hair and a beard and like a pink beard. And I've got like my teal hair with like my fade isn't gonna get touched up till like June at this point in real life, so I've got a nice fresh fade in the game. But
that's the struggle that so many of us have gone through in these games.
Right. He was wearing like a fancy pea coat, and I'm wearing like the standard Hawaiian shirt that you start out in, and we were just laughing at each other because we're basically just like Travis and Justin McElroy, like aesthetically.
Exactly. Like, you know what? Tekka was supposed to be last weekend too, so I mean, it's like you got to cosplay.
Exactly. I can't cosplay in real life with friends, but I can cosplay in the game with my homies.
That's what it's about. There's been so much stuff with Animal Crossing that people are using it for other things. Like people, like this one guy, I think Grimecraft. He's also involved with Game Chops a little bit, if I recall correctly. They did like a virtual concert. And I think they streamed it on Twitch, like the concert, but like the audience was supposed to show up like from Animal Crossing, like come to the island if you could. And they had like a merch stand outside. And I don't know how that works, if like you just can like buy stuff off the racks or if you just got the patterns or whatever, but I thought that was pretty cool.
That's so funny. Yeah, I know like you can buy like this game, like because I've never played before, I didn't know that the crafting element in this game is new. So like you can like you gather items and like build like you can build things and like there's the custom creation where you can make like different patterns and stuff for like flags and shirts and whatnot, but you can also get like a recipe to build like a table or like a bed cool. Or like like right now the I started the day that the Easter event started.
Interesting day to
which
start.
Is annoying because like every time you go to like dig up a fossil, but actually it's an egg, and like you go to dig up or like you cut down a tree, and instead of like getting wood from the tree, you get eggs.
Did the eggs do anything?
They do nothing. You can make they're like recipes that you can make like make things out of the eggs, but they're all ugly. The only upside to the eggs is that they sell for $200 or 200 bells a piece, and if you craft something with them, they sell for double that.
Okay.
So like,
so they have a purpose.
At the end of the day, like I'll like go like take a bunch of eggs and just like make a bunch of like really ugly dresses out of them. And then and then come back and like and sell them just to like get my money's worth out of
just like farming eggs into bells.
Exactly.
Well, that's cool. I mean, not so much the egg stuff impeding any kind of progress, but it's cool that they're having events in it. I think this is one of the first ones in a while, or at least I know at some point in the past they took a break from holiday events just since there was a weird mix from the Western market and the Japanese market.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's cool to see that stuff's in there. I also saw some guy, I think a guy in China was selling designs. Like, he had like his like WePay or whatever the app they use over there is, like his code, and you just like, if you want a design, you pay him for it, and he would send you like the design from that shirt or something.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's just like, yeah, this is hard time, so I'm doing whatever I can. People are like, that's cool. Like, I'll give you like $1 for this, which is an interesting thing to do if you're a talented artist.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot going on in the world of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's there's like also like discourse about people who are like I've seen on Twitter that are like can't believe you stole the idea of putting like a shell on the beach in this particular position, this is copyright infringement. Like,
oh yeah, there's a whole side of this that's been
wild, kind
of upsetting to me, like how much of a competition people want to make this stuff. Like, I saw an article is like 20 of the best outfits we've seen in Animal Crossing. I'm like, that's, I mean, I see what you're doing, but you're kind of, how do I want to put it, like commodifying what people are doing in this relaxation game, or I don't know, it just made me a little uncomfortable in a way. Not like in a problematic way or anything, just kind of
yeah, like I'm playing this because I am having a grand old time, like, and also like because I like, I mean, the only other island I've seen is our friends, but like I'm at such a point in my island development, so to speak, that like I don't have the like money or materials necessary to really start customizing stuff the way I want to. So like there's a lot more like grinding, like for right now, like I only have 2 rooms in my house, and I know that you can go up to at least 4.
So you get a baller
so
pack.
So in the meantime, like for right now, I'm just like grinding for bells to pay off the first room so that I can get more rooms before I like go too hard on like where I want to plant stuff or like where I want to like do other stuff like that. So
cool.
But yeah, having a good old time.
That's good to hear. I'm glad you're having a great adventure on your new horizons.
Yeah. So many these horizons have opened up for me.
You're truly becoming like a super gamer.
really well-rounded gamer, you know? Like, I've got my Animal Crossing, I've got my platformers, I've got my roguelites, like...
Yeah, those are like a whole ass gradient of stuff. Like, I appreciate the fact that you have, like, Animal Crossing, which is probably one of the most mainstream games you could be playing at the moment. But also, like, Okami, which was, like, not that mainstream of a game, is also a remake, like a throwback game from Capcom, so it's probably a little bit tricky. Then Crypto the Necrodancer, which is, like, in no way easy. And then, like, some Mario Karts and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, just you know, never thought, like, I mean, I knew that, like, I was probably gonna, like, my game world would expand somewhat when I got a Switch, but I, really was just thinking of it as a Super Smash Brothers machine until...
Me too. I mean, I was hoping they'd come out with a Smash, but I was like, Splatoon's pretty dope. I like that game. And then the Switch decided to go to be a decent machine. Who would have thunk it, but...
Yeah. Well, I guess it's Spyro and Crash, too. Very big on the classic remakes.
Nothing wrong with the classics, though. Here's hoping they remake, or remaster Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Because those games could use those could use a remake, and if they release the Child Guard in 2021's times, that'll be a whole thing that people will get very lost in. Basically, little Tamagotchis that you can like hang out with and stuff.
Nice.
Like, you know, a diversion from all the action. You can just like raise these little creatures.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it's a whole thing that people like still play with that and mod that. Like, I'm done playing Adventure 2 Battle, but I want to raise these little guys, so I have to keep going back into stage to grind out for, like, rings and like, the little cores that the enemies drop or little animals, so it's a whole thing.
Nice.
But we got some other game stuff going on, too, if we
I was going to say, yeah, you've got some games to tell me about, games with a Z.
Well, yeah, games. Quick update on one step from Eden. I've made it to Eden a couple times.
You've stepped all the way there?
I've stepped all the way there. I've done the route where you spare everybody and you have to fight one of your friends again. I've defeated her, but I spared her because I don't want to be mean. But I'm going to have to go be mean to get the achievement. I've done the path where you don't spare everybody, so you have to fight this gate, you know, the robotic gate to Eden. You beat it, you just get kicked out, you die. Which is still counts as victory. And then I've done the one where you don't spare anybody, but you don't kill the shopkeeper, so it's not a full killing run. And you actually go into Eden and you fight stuff and you beat the boss, and she's like, cool, you know I told you I make my own rules, so yeah, you can't really beat me. She just sends you back to the beginning of the game with all your stuff. And you can keep doing loops like that, so... But I promptly died because I had, like, no health, and I'm like, I'm not prepared. I thought you would be it. I didn't think I would win this fight, so that's pretty good. Lovely game overall. Very difficult, but once you get a rhythm, it's not so bad. But the other game in the news I want to talk about, there's a game called Valorant coming out soon. I got beta access to it, and the beta access starts today for all you listening on Tuesday. Yesterday for all you listening on Wednesday. But basically a lot of streamers, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I think about like 500 streamers got invited to do what they called a boot camp, which was just them grinding out the game, getting used to it. I don't think people went to Riot games. I think they were all just at home on their own systems. I think that was the point that everyone used their own systems because they wanted the game to be able to run on a toaster, pretty much. They wanted to be able to run with very low requirements. Because they wanted to be an esport since they're so... You know, they've had such luck with League of Legends. They want to finally get their crossover. But yeah, so there's this game called Valorant. It's a shooting game, very much like Counter-Strike, so tactical. Like, you're not going to be running around, like, shooting as you run like you might in Counter-Strike or Overwatch or Apex. Not Counter-Strike, I'm sorry. Call of Duty or Apex Legends or Overwatch, where you can kind of move around kind of funky. This is very, you run somewhere, you stop and shoot. Follows the same Counter-Strike plot. But they've changed it from being terrorists and counter-terrorists because it's making it harder to grow in some places.
Yeah.
From what I could tell, I don't think there's too much coding in that other than it's just terrorists and counter-terrorists. But the objective is still the same. But since it's a somewhat fantasy land, there's a spike that will like steal the mana from a place. That's the bomb. So you have to stop the other team from doing that. You just want to put down your spike, your charge, or the bomb, whatever you're going to call it, and the other team has to stop you, and you have to stop them from stopping you kind of thing. So, but there's like hero shooter, in quotes, elements to it. So like every character has a couple of abilities. I think one you just get, the rest you have to buy, and they only have use for that round. But if you don't use them, you can hold up to like 3 charges or something for different abilities. So it's, it's pretty cool. It has some of that Riot charm. Like the art's pretty good. They've made some nice trailers for the characters, and they seem to be not afraid of using hip hop in their trailers, which is pretty good. Like one of the first characters they like announced was this black British dude. So the trailers are pretty hype. The abilities aren't too outlandish. So if you've seen the abilities in Overwatch, there's so much particle effects and flashing, it might be hard to see what's going on. And then in a game like Apex, the abilities might be so light that you're not even 100% sure somebody used an ability. You're like, did they do something? Like, I think that person may have disappeared and that guy grappled, but unless you knew that game, you wouldn't realize that person used an ability. You'd assume it's just something that's part of the game, right? Like the one healer, she has a healing drone that she can lay down. When she brings somebody back up, like picks them up, she has a shield around her, and her ultimate is calling down like a supply crate. So, there are supply crates in the game. There are people that might have little shields. There are things that look like a healing drone. So unless you knew the game, you would just assume that's part of it, Valorant has something that's a little bit in between. Like, people can throw like a wall of fire out, like, or bank things off the wall, but it'll all be themed around that character. So you're like, oh, that guy is a fire type person or whatever. But they're supposed to be tactical. If you try to use them in bad positions, you'll lose. They're not just press this button to win. So it looks interesting. I've never played Counter-Strike, but I've seen friends play it. I've watched streamers play it, and I don't plan on being good at this game, but I want to check it out. Cause it's going to be free to play. It's going to follow the Riot model, which is you don't have to pay for anything to be good, but it's pay to swag kind of thing. Like if you want the nice gun skin or the nice skin for this or all this, that's where you're going to pay your money. If I'm understanding, it's not going to be loot boxes or anything. It's just going to be you pay for what you get, and you don't have to pay at all. If you want to just play the game, you can play the game. So that's a decent model.
Yeah, we stand a game that is not pay to play.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's obviously some stuff going on with Riot, whereas they had some issues with mistreating female coworkers, and apparently all the coworkers, but like also sexism and stuff too. But people are like, yo, so I'm not going to downplay the misogyny at this company, but why would people letting this dude rock, like, in general? Like, I think it was the studio where the guy was, like, farting on people. And they're like, so, again, not to downplay the misogyny, but, like, why were y'all letting him do this to the other guys? Also, like, that's kind of weird. Like, he's, like, a president or something. But they went through some, like, class action lawsuits and stuff like that, and the company's trying to get their shit together. I think they also have some other weird stuff going on with, like, foreign markets and stuff, like the same kind of stuff Blizzard got in trouble for. But, I mean, we're all bad at boycotts, so, like, the Blizzard boycott isn't, well, it's not going because people are choosing to, it's just kind of happening because waves at Blizzard in general.
Yeah, gestures at everything.
There's a lot of hype around Valorant. Like I said, the beta starts on Tuesday. If you got a key for it, not a key, like a drop is what they're calling it. I don't know why. You had to be connected to Twitch. You have to connect a Riot account, but yeah. So if you watch one of these player streams, you were able to get a drop, and I did get one. So I'm going to give it a shot tomorrow and see what it's like. I don't plan on being good, but I hope that there's a feeling of like, oh, this seems like it could be fun if I was playing with other bad people or got good,
That's like how I am at any like multiplayer video games. Just like, this could be fun if I was it's funny because like even like I was playing Mario Kart with my roommate like a couple weekends ago, and I don't consider myself good at video games, but at least I have like some fluency with like the controller after playing for so long.
Yeah.
So like even just that change was enough, that little bit of leveling difference was enough that it was like kind of frustrating for her to play against me.
Right. Yeah, that's how I feel about games. Is there's some games that are there's like 3 kind of games, or maybe 2. There's games that are good no matter what your skill level is, and there's games that are only good if you're good at them, and there's games that are only good if the other person matches you. So like, let's say, to me anyway, bowling and tennis aren't fun if you're not good at them. Even if your opponent is as bad as you, if you're just rolling gutter balls for an hour, that's not fun, and it's frustrating because you're missing an objective. In tennis, if you can't serve the ball or return a serve, like no matter how soft, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be frustrating with you running after the ball. But a game like, I don't know, well, I mean, like shooting games, where if everybody's bad and no one's hitting anybody, but you're all having the joy of shooting at each other, those are fun. But like fighting games like Mortal Kombat, if like nobody knows what's going on and you're just like blocking and running and punching, you might laugh for a little bit, but you're not going to really enjoy it because you're like, well...
After a while, it gets annoying.
Yeah, we kind of just punched each other, but I know I can shoot fireballs and do tornado kicks, so why am I just doing jabs and maybe the occasional uppercut? I won, but I didn't have fun because I didn't get it. So from what I understand from listening to some of the podcasts, people are like, this is the kind of game that is as fun. Like, if you are near your opponent's skill level, it's fun. Like, whether they're better than you or not, as long as it's not like 1st grade to 10th grade level. If you're like 1st grade to 3rd grade, maybe, you're like, man, we got beat, but like, it was still fun because I felt like I had a chance or I was in it and I knew what I was doing. So I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. It did huge numbers on Twitch on Tuesday. Which is interesting because it's probably the most I've ever seen on Twitch for a game, and especially considering that no one was actually playing the game. This was all video on demand streaming. Like, these were all streamers saying, hey, look, I'm live in my little box, but this gameplay you're seeing was recorded like 5 days ago. It had like probably 800, 900,000 viewers.
Dang.
And it looked bad, and I made a point, and I want this to be heard, you know. A lot of people are saying it's not competing with Overwatch because it's not the same type of game. And some people are like, well, no, it is competing because it's a shooter and you only have a limited amount of time in a day. You have 24 hours in a day. You can't play 2 games at once. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
But
false. I can put a lure on my phone and play Pokemon Go while I also play a different endless collecting game on my Switch.
I mean, that's true. I've played Slay the Spire while I was in queue for Overwatch. That's kind of sidestepping it. But... whereas the Counter-Strike community is not afraid at all, but they're the ones who are in direct competition. Like, there's a reason to play Overwatch still. Like, maybe I want to play a tank. That doesn't exist in Valorant. But if you are like, hey, I want to, like, just be tactically shooting, like, I could play Counter-Strike or Valorant, whichever one's better at the moment. But I was like, so I looked at the numbers for different games, and CSGO still was doing really well. Some people are saying that community is just in denial, but there's, like, often a reason to watch it. League of Legends still was doing alright. Fortnite, like, everything was lower, but it's still doing alright. But like, Overwatch has been doing like less than 20,000, which is not good because there's like 1 or 2 streamers that can pull 20,000 on their own. But I was like, this is really low numbers for this game, and it's just been low pretty consistently. I think they had like that bad week of hero bans they had was just pretty unfun for most people, especially the tanks and healers. It was all like the hit scan heroes were banned. You know, people who, like, point and click, it's instant. They were all banned. Like, one of the healers was banned, and I don't even know if it...
Was that the week that had Mercy banned?
No, that's this week, which is... there's an interesting dynamic with Mercy players, like, people that main Mercy. Because there's other heroes that require as much aim as her, sometimes less, that they're not good at just because they've hyper-focused. That's a whole interesting thing. I mean, they're still good at the game, but it's different dynamics. That's this week. Last week it was Diva, Hitscan Heroes, and Baptiste, which was just kind of, you have to throw somebody under the bus. But I was like, this isn't fun for anybody except people who play like Pharah and like maybe Genji and Junkrat. The supports are just getting dived all day. We're just getting blown up. The tanks don't know how to deal with an aerial threat or a speed threat. And it's like I think I played 2 competitive, like the week before I played like at least 20 games. And I was like, I think I played 2 or 3. I was like, this is just unfun for people below Masters, like, because we don't have the ability to deal with this threat enough to make them stop doing it. Like the game is just getting more and more not fun for tanks and support players. And we're like, well, at least we have a new hero coming out who has, like, a sleek design. Maybe she'll be a support, maybe a tank. And they're like, no, a damage player. And there's, like, no more heroes coming out to Overwatch 2, which we've not given a date on. And people are like, Blizzard, what the fuck is this? Like, even the DPS players are like, she looks cool, but, like, she's a little strong, like, a little overpowered, we think, and not really addressing any of the needs or desires or problems in the game right now. And I was like, yo, just let it be known that, like, when the articles come out, it wasn't Valorant that killed Overwatch. Like, it was Overwatch that killed Overwatch. Because there's so many people that are just losing passion in the game. And, like, I don't know. I feel like they've made so many, like, weird missteps that I don't think the game is going to be dead anytime soon. Like, I still enjoy playing it, especially on quick play. And the Overwatch League is still going to thrive. But, like, I don't know. It's just been, like, even the games that I won, it's just, like, this isn't really fun unless I'm with, like, 5 friends just dicking around in quick play. Like, the competitive nature of the game just seems like, I don't know. Like, the game's getting more and more toxic with, like, more people being home on quarantine. So, like, I don't know. We'll see what happens, though. I think a lot of people are going to be splitting their time in more and more games. You know, Animal Crossing is a nice, fun game. There's more and more games coming out. There's more shooters coming out. We'll see what happens, but again, this was about Valorant, and it looks cool, and the character design's nice. Still no black women. I don't know why people don't want to put black women in video games, but, you know.
Yeah, very strange. Very strange.
It's
all around.
A friend corrected me, which I'm glad they did. I'm not salty about this. My buddy Steve on Twitter. I asked him, like, is there no black women in League of Legends? I think there's like 2 black dudes in the game. Like, there is recently a black woman that got added to the game, which is cool. Until you remember, League of Legends has like over 90 heroes, I think. And
how old is this game?
I think I've seen posts from like 2012, but I don't actually know if that's true.
It's almost a 10-year-old game.
It's at least 5 years old. It's at least 6 years old, so like there's no excuse considering you have that many characters, and a lot of them were like purple and stuff like that. And then Overwatch has introduced a black girl and a black woman into the story, but will not let us play as the black characters. Woman. I'm fine with them not making the black girl a playable character. Like, you know, we're shooting people in the face. I'll give them that one. But like we've seen Sojourn, she's clearly in Overwatch. She's a commander with Jack Morrison, and she's going to be playable one day. They told us, probably in Overwatch 2. And we're like, but then like a lot of the community was like, well, based on the fact that she has like a robot arm or something, or an arm cannon, she's probably going to be DPS Overwatch or Blizzard. We don't want that right now because we don't want a DPS hero. But if you have any like black women tanks or supports, that'd be cool. And like, they don't want Sojourn. Well, here's Echo, a different DPS. We're like, meanwhile, Apex like launched with 2 playable black women characters that were like clearly and specifically black. And the only white guys are behind a paywall, like, almost as a joke, like...
That's so funny.
Yeah. And the guy's like... Some guy's like, oh, so, like, one of the white guys is, like, effeminate or whatever, and the other guy's name is Caustic. Like, he's a poison guy. Like, are you saying the white dudes are toxic? I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure you said that, dude. Like... That's, So, I don't know. Like, there are black people in Valorant. I just don't know why people are so afraid to put, like, black women in their games. And this is like probably a bigger discussion that I don't want to get into right now. Yeah. But... And it's not like a Valorant problem, but like you see the climate, you're making a brand new game. You're making a big effort to like have one of the female leads of development, like in the development videos you're putting out. Like you understand the need for female representation. There's a male and female host on these videos I've seen. But like where are the black women at? Riot? Like, why is everyone doing this? Respawn did it like almost like it was nothing. Like, oh yeah, okay. Like we have a robot, we have 2 black women, we have like some white ladies, an Asian lady is all good, right? Mm-hmm. They just don't add black women in video games. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, it's like the like DPS thing makes me think of, you've seen the cactus meme from The Good Place?
I'm not sure. Maybe. I feel like I have. Wait, when Janet like, keeps pulling out cactuses?
Yeah, where Michael's like, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure that what you're about to hand me is not a cactus? She's like, I'm absolutely sure. And I feel like that's, like, I've seen it recently with, like, the eggs in Animal Crossing. It's like, are you sure what you're about to hand me is a fossil and not an egg?
Very sure. Also, KK Slider's in this game, right?
Yes.
What a musical virtuoso. Done more for the culture than the Beatles.
Truly.
Is he considered an idol?
Well, I don't know. I guess so. They, every day there's a new album of his in the, in the Nook store.
So KK Slider opened up for either Off the Hook or the Squid Sisters. I can't recall which.
That's so funny.
But I think since the Squid Sisters are definitely idols, Off the Hook is a music group related to them in some way, and KK Slider appeared in one of their shows. I think, if a HyoCon happens next year, and they still have the theme of idols. I think KK Slider is an idol.
I think you're right. I will stand with you on this.
I've heard a little bit about maybe conventions might not go back to normal next year. Like, a lot of them might not recover from this year.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's not true, but I can see it being the case where, like, I don't know. This article that made this theory didn't really get into it, but...
they operate on fairly thin margins from what I understand. I heard that AMC movie theaters might not reopen after this, like...
Yeah, that too, which is it's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea of, hey, our overhead and cost went down to zero, but we won't be able to open up, like, I don't know what their rent is like. Maybe they did pull a Cheesecake Factory and refuse to pay rent. But in my understanding, if AMC theaters aren't buying the movies to show, because why would they buy those movies? That's almost all of their expense, and I'm assuming their employees aren't getting paid. So the only reason they'd close down is that they just keep paying their CEOs. Because I'd imagine it's like, hey, freeze everything. Money in and out will start again whenever this is over. So I don't know what AMC is spending their money on in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, apparently their credit rating dropped, like, horrifically in the meantime, but
that makes sense, but that's not fair. Like, hey, we don't think you're going to be able to bring in money. Yeah, neither do we. That's why we're not spending any money. Like, what do you mean?
For real.
You want to hear a scary fact about 2020? It's not actually scary, like the way that things are actually scary, but a different kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like the fun scary. You want to hear a scary thought, Steph?
Tell me a scary thought, my guy.
The number 2 grossing movie in the United States of 2020 is Sonic the Hedgehog. What's up, y'all? God. The prophecy has been foretold.
What's number 1? Birds of Prey?
No, the Bad Boys movie.
Ah, okay.
Bad Boys for Life, I think it's called, because they didn't want to call it Bad Boys 3.
Which is really dumb, because they could have used Bad Boys for Life as a 4th movie title.
Oh, yes, they could.
Which did a 4? Like Fast and the Furious?
I don't know what's going on. I think when you call it... I think it's a way to kind of trick some unsuspecting people in. When you call something a sequel, it's kind of like, oh, I didn't see the first 2 Bad Boys or something. And from what I understand, the only plot thread in the 3rd one is just that Martin Lawrence's character was like, yo, I told you I'm done with this shit, man. I'm too old to be out here being like wild cop, you know? And Will Smith's character's like, nah, we gotta do like one more job or something because this dude keeps killing people. And then he gets like in danger, like, nah, man, I'm here to do it. And at the end, he's like, Will Smith's like, okay, man, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna keep pulling you into this. I'm gonna let you retire. This other character here. I guess spoilers for Bad Boys for Life. It's Will Smith's son character. Who was like, I guess...
the character played by Jaden Smith.
Is he Jaden Smith? I don't know. It's just
I don't know either.
It's just some guy. But apparently he was killing people because he thought that someone like killed his dad or something. Like his mother had misled him to do it because it's a Michael Bay movie and women are duplicitous. So the dude's like, well, I'm gonna go to jail for a while, but when I get out, I'm gonna help be a good cop or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, they could have called it Bad Boys for Life, but I think they just didn't want to call it a sequel number, even though everyone has been asking for Bad Boys 3, but I guess that's too small of an audience. So yeah, right now those are the top 2 grossing movies. And I don't know where Birds of Prey stands up. I think it might be like the 5th grossing movie of 2020, but like the 3rd that was released this year. Because I think like Parasite and Knives Out made a bunch of money this year.
Oh yeah, true.
But that's slightly different, so...
But yeah, speaking of movie theaters, the last movie that I saw in theaters was Onward.
Oh,
which
great.
we have just recently watched, so...
Yeah, it's actually just on Disney Plus now. I thought we rented it, but no, it's on Disney Plus, and it's alright. It's a decent movie.
Yeah, right? It's enjoyable.
I do like the arc of the main character, how he starts out. Well, I guess a lot of people haven't seen it yet, so I won't really get into it too much. But I appreciate how he went from, I need this, to, you know what, no, I don't need this, I needed this other thing. I mean, okay, I guess I'm just describing a Disney movie, so, but it follows that, but it was a nice twist, because I wasn't sure really what the ending was going to be. I do appreciate, I laugh at the fact that no one will let Tom Holland do his natural voice.
I know, he has to talk in like a... Like a young boy American accent all the time.
This is a mystical world. Let him speak a British accent. You don't even have to justify it. We could just say, well, we all know the plot because it was in the trailers. Dad coming back as half a body. They have to, figure this out. Mm. It could have been like the dad was British, the mom was not. That's why one of them has a British accent.
Genetic accents.
I mean, why not? It's Fantasyland. Meanwhile, Chris Pratt is doing his best, not impersonation, but Jack Black summoning. Because that is just a Jack Black ass character if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah.
The lesbian cop was, again, not that much, but casually in there. This is a great step for Disney, so I can't wait to see what they do in 1992. I appreciate that there were black voices in the movie. Mm-hmm. This is a kids movie, so it was a little slow for me. I say that as I enjoy kids media a lot. I guess the thing that made me sad was the predictable. They have to fall out at the beginning of the third act or the end, towards the climax of the movie. Mm-hmm. Which I hoped they weren't going to do because they do it early on, but that's part of the formula. But the main thing that I was like, what the heck? Why are we getting this movie? Was just that the premise is that magic used to be in the world and now it's not really that popular. Mm-hmm. You can't tease me with that. Towards the end of the movie when magic is flourishing and stuff like that, I'm like, I want to watch that movie. I want to watch the movie that happens after the conflict is resolved. Uh-huh. I'm like, yo, this looks so sick. They're doing all this and X, Y, and Z. This looks so fun. I feel like that's the movie that the team signed on to make, and then they made the Slice of Life episode. Uh-huh. About
bringing maybe, I don't know, maybe if it does well enough on Disney Plus, it I guess it's such a tricky thing, release wise, because if it had done really well in theaters, maybe there would have been a Disney Channel spin-off show.
Yeah, that's what I would like, is like a Disney.
I mean, they did Tangled Ever After, or whatever it's called. That's literally undoes the end of Tangled by giving Rapunzel her magic hair back.
Nice. Well,
so.
I mean, I don't know. I like that. I mean, they have the How to Train Your Dragon show. DreamWorks isn't Pixar, is it?
No, but they did.
It's the same premise, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney Plus is Disney's making a ton of money because it's Disney. I don't know. I'd like to see some shorts, kind of how they had the short from Inside Out that happened after the plot. I'd like to see a little. Hey, just give me a 10-minute short of the two brothers hanging out doing magic stuff. I don't need a lot, Or it'd be a great show It'd be a great movie for the straight to DVD releases. When we have Disney Plus, so all the overhead's gone. Just put that on Disney Plus. Let us watch Onward to More Adventure.
Onward even further.
Offward.
Offward.
No, I'm not going to do this, but yeah, that's what I saw recently. I liked it. It was cute. Made me feel some feels. But other than that, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, good, charming stuff.
But let's close this out. I think you have some stuff to get back to.
Yeah, we are recording in the middle of the day today during my work day, on my lunch break, as opposed to in the evening on a weekend, because last night my brain was just not in the podcasting zone.
Hey, that's totally all right. We all need our time. We are going to do DuckTales recaps to make up for My Hero Academia dropping the ball on the dub. Again, Not sad that they closed production, just sad that production wasn't done in advance. That's my own personal hang-up. I could watch the sub, but, it's going to be hard to go back. But DuckTales, surprisingly...
DuckTales is produced in English.
Yay, that I'm not... Yay for my non-polyglot powers. But it's also something fun to just keep up with, and hopefully the episodes will air, on Disney Plus or something, or if you have cable or any of those services that let you see cable episodes, I'm sure that'll work.
Yes.
But, in the meantime, say you like us. Say you like what we do. You want to support us with love and adoration. That's totally possible via the powers of the internet. You can find me personally anywhere, at Brother Dom, anywhere I want to be found. That's going to be Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Tumblr. Every now and then I reblog there when I go to get to a new property.
New fandom.
Yeah, anything like that. You can find Steph at HellaSteph on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Captain Steph on Twitter, and the Snowqueer on Tumblr. You can find this podcast in a litany of places, predominantly it's probably going to be Google Play Podcasts or iTunes or Spotify even, but we don't know you. Maybe you have a different podcast catcher, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, whatever it be. We're in all the locations, so give us a download, give us a rating and review if this kind of service has that. We'd appreciate it. You can also find this podcast on YouTube. It's going to be a little harder to search because character reveals are a real thing, and a fake thing, I guess, whatever that means, but people reveal characters. So you could probably find the link to our YouTube channel in the description below if that's more your speed to follow on YouTube path. You can find the podcast at characterrevealed.simplecast.fm. That's where all of our podcasts and other links are, or on Twitter. That's characterrev, 2 R's in the middle. And I think that's everything. We're also on Patreon because times are tough, but times are tough for a lot of people. So if you don't have the money or want to send it to more relief-based purposes, we totally understand. It's anything you can offer. But there's people making masks and getting ventilators ready and people whose livelihoods have been destroyed by all this. So if you have some spare change, I'm sure they could use it. I went on Humble Bundle and bought a bundle from them. $30 for like $1,000 worth of games, books, and
Choice
stuff.
games.
But the big thing is that they split their money up, but they send it all to charity for relief. I think you could pick which charity you wanted to go to out of the 4. But they're not taking any of the money, and the publishers aren't taking any of the money. It's all to charity this time. So
it's all specifically COVID-related charities, like Doctors Without Borders, etc.
Yeah. The games are not specifically related to anything dark like that. Like Jackbox is there, Undertale, different stuff like that. So, but it's good for acquiring goods, and it's also good for supporting people. So, yeah, that's that. I think that's everything for us, right?
Yeah. That's all I've got.
Cool. Hey, well, listeners, thanks for rocking with us on another one. We appreciate your time and attention and all that good stuff. So until next time, see you later.
Bye.